Test, test.
I'll go around and tell them.
Did you get those at where? Costco?
Costco.
Every type of
Hair.
pair of cherries.
Look, these are my favorite. My sister has like that. I feel like it's hard to put back in the bag, but other than that. Oh, okay, maybe. Maybe because I didn't know how to do it. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. I was doing it wrong.
You guys ready?
Hey, Yoel. He's ready. Yoel's ready. You sound like a boss.
That's good. They got rid of the trash cans. They got rid of the rubbish cans. Which ones are mild? Real mild. Start kicking people off.
Who's after me? Just so that. Taylor? Right. Exciting.
Where does it begin?
Exodus 1.
1 through 11.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Let's go. Exodus. Need some background music while you guys read? Exodus. Yes, I love it. I'm going to just hear that now.
All right. You guys ready? Exodus chapter 1,
Yeah.
verse 1.
So we just finished up Genesis.
It says, "And these are the names of the children of Yasharel, who came to Mitzrayim with Yaakov, each one with his household: Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yissachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. And all those who were descendants of Yaakov were 70 beings. And Joseph was already in Mitzrayim, Egypt. And Joseph died, and all his brothers, and all that generation. And the children of Yasharel were fruitful and increased very much, multiplied and became very strong. And the land was filled with them. Then a new sovereign arose over Mitzrayim, who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, 'See, the people of the children of Yasharel are more and stronger than we. Come, let us act wisely toward them, lest they increase, and it shall be when fighting befalls us, that they shall join our enemies and fight against us, and shall go up out of the land. So they set themselves, they set slave masters over them to afflict them with their burdens. They built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pithom and Ramesses.
No.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with labor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in bread, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with reward. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of the midwife to the people, and see them upon the swords, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Elohim, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered. Here the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Elohim, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took him an ark of a bushel, and covered it with slime and with fish, and put the child therein. And she laid in the flags of the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off to wit that would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maiden to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. And she said, she had compassion on him, and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maiden went and called. Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take the child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, son, and she called him his name Moses. And she said, because I draw him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, and he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
That is just annoying.
Verse 13. And he went out the second day and saw two Hebrew men fighting, and he said to the one who did the wrong, why do you strike me? And he said, who made you a head and a judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you killed the Mitzrayim? And Moshe feared and said, truly the matter is known. And Pharaoh heard of this matter, and he sought to kill Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. And the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the troughs to water their father's flock. But the shepherds came and drove them away. Then Moshe stood up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. And they came to Reuel, their father, and he said, how is it that you have come so soon today? And they said, a Mitzrayite rescued us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock. And he said to his daughters, and where is he? Where did you leave the man? Call him and let him eat bread. And Moshe agreed to dwell with the man, and he gave Zipporah his daughter to Moshe. And she bore him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have become a sojourner in a foreign land. And it came to be after these many days that the sovereign of Mitzrayim died. And the children of Yasharah groaned because of the slavery, and they cried out. And their cry came up to Elohim because of the slavery. And Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Yitzchak, and with Yaakov. And Elohim looked on the children of Yasharah, and Elohim knew.
Okay, Exodus chapter 3. Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of Yah, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Yah called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, here am I. And he said, draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the Yah of thy father, the Yah of Abraham, the Yah of Isaac, and the Yah of Yaakov. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Yah. And the Lord Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Yasharel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppress. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moshe said unto Yah, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?
Verse 13 again. Torah book. And he said, Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee, that I may send you. When you has brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. And Moses said unto Elohim, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. And Elohim said moreover unto Moses, Thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, Yah, Elohim of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and shall say unto them, Yah, Elohim of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and you shall come, you and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and you shall say unto him, Yah, Elohim of the Hebrews, has sent me with us. And now let us go with thee and beseech thee 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice unto Yah our Elohim. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not even with a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand, and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty-handed, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her sojourner in her house, jewels of silver and jewels of gold, and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians.
Exodus. And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say that Yah has not appeared unto you. And Yah said unto him, What is that in your hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from it. And Yah said unto Moses, Put forth your hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that Yah, Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob has appeared unto them. And Yah said furthermore unto him, Put now your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put your hand into your bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe you, neither hearken voice of the first sign, then they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also the two signs, neither hearken unto your voice, that you shall take out the water of the river and pour it on the dry land, and the water which you have taken out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. And Moses said unto Yah, O my Adonai, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since you have spoken unto my servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. And Yah said unto him, Who has made a man's mouth? Or who makes the dumb, or the deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I, says Yah. Say, Mama.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my master, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him who thou wilt send. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moses, and he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well, and also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth, and I will teach you what you shall do. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be unto him instead of Yah. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moses went out and returned to Jethro his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace. And Yahweh said unto Moses in Midian, Go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moses took his wife and his sons, and set upon an ass. And he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of Yah in his hands. And Yahweh said unto Moses, When thou goest to return unto Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let his people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahweh, Yasharel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. If thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. And it came to pass by the way in the inn, that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone, and cut off the foreskin of her son, and cast it at his feet, and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go, and then she said, A bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision. And Yahweh said to Aaron, Go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of Yah, and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of Yah, who had sent him, and all the signs which he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Yasharel. And Aaron spake all the words which Yahweh had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of thy people. And the people believed, and when they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Yasharel, that he had looked upon their affliction, and they bowed their heads and worshipped.
Exodus chapter 5, verse 1. And afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, God of Israel, let my people go, that they might Pharaoh said, Who is the Lord, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, talking to Mike, and they said, The Yah of the Hebrews hath met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto the Lord our Yah, lest he fall upon us with pestilence and with a sword. So fierce. And the king of Egypt said unto them, Wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their works get you unto your burdens? And Pharaoh said, Behold, the people of the lands now are many. Ye make them rest from their burdens. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, Ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick, as heretofore let them go and gather straw for themselves. And the tale of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our Yah. Let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, Thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye, get you straw from where ye can find. Go ye, get you straw where ye can find it, yet not aught of your own work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters hasted them, saying, Fulfill your works, your daily tasks, and when there was straw, as when there was straw. And I was just, okay, 8x.
And the officers of the children of Yasharel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, Wherefore have you not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today as heretofore? And the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore deal you thus with your servants? There is no straw given unto your servants. And they say to us, Make brick. And behold, your servants are beaten. But the fault is in your own people. He said, Ye are idle, ye are idle. Therefore ye say, Let us go and do sacrifice to Yahuwah. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tally of bricks. The officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in equal case. After it was said, Ye shall not finish aught from your bricks of your daily task. And they met Moshe and Aaron, who stood in the way as they came forth from Pharaoh. And they said unto them, Yahuwah look upon you and judge, because ye have made our Savior Moshe returned to Eliyahu and said, Adonai, wherefore have you so evil entreated this people? Why is it that you have sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people. Neither have you delivered our people at all. Then Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Now shall you see what I will do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe and said unto him,
I'll take the next one. I got the next one.
Isaiah 27:6 through Isaiah 28:13. Those who come, he causes to take root in Yaakov. Yashrael shall blossom and bud, and they shall fill the face of the world with fruit. Has he smitten him as he struck the ones who were striking him? Or as a killer, was he killed as he was killing? In measure by sending her away, you contended with her. He shall take away by his rough wind in the day of the east wind. Therefore by this the crookedness of Yaakov is covered, and this is all the fruit of taking away his sin. When he makes all the stones of the slaughter place like chalk stones that are beaten to dust, Asherim and sun pillars rise no more. For the city of defense is lonely, a home forsaken and left like a wilderness. There the calf feeds, and there it lies down, and shall consume its branches. When its twigs are dry, they are broken off. Women come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he who made them has no compassion on them, and he who formed them shows them no favor. And in that day it shall be that Yahuwah threshes from the channel of the river to the wadi of Mitzrayim, and you shall be gathered one by one, O children of Yashrael. And in that day it shall be that a great shofar is blown, and those who were perishing in the land of Ashur and the outcasts in the land of Mitzrayim shall come and shall worship Yahuwah on the set-apart mountain in Jerusalem. Woe to the proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim, to the fading flower of its splendid comeliness that is on the head of the fertile valley, to those who are overcome with wine. See, Yahuwah has one who is strong and potent, like a downpour of hail and a destroying storm, like a flood of mighty waters overflowing, who casts down to the earth with the hand. The proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim is trampled underfoot, and the fading flower of its splendid comeliness that is on the head of the fertile valley, like the first fruit before the summer, which when one sees it, he eats it up while it is still in his hand. In that day Yahuwah of hosts is for a crown of splendor and a headdress of comeliness to the remnant of his people, and a spirit of right ruling to him who sits in right ruling, and strength to those who turn back the battle at the gate. And these two have gone astray through wine and through strong drink, wandering about. Priests and prophets have gone astray through strong drink. They are swallowed up by wine. They wander about through strong drink. They go astray in vision. They stumble in right ruling. For all tables shall be covered with vomit, no place without filth. Whom would he teach knowledge, and whom would he make to understand the message? Those weaned from milk, those taken from the breasts, For it is command upon command, command upon command, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. For with a jabbering lip and a foreign tongue, he speaks to his people, to whom he said, this is the rest. Give rest to the weary, and this is the refreshing. But they would not hear. But the word of Yahuwah was to them, command upon command, command upon a command, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, so that they go and shall stumble backward and be broken and snared and taken captive.
Now, when Yahushai was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Matthew 2:1. Now, when Yahushai was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahushai should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall... Yep, okay. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship.
For the Israelites who were growing strong and mighty, like for them to just go under, go into slavery, like just allow themselves to just be captive. Because like, why did they not put up a fight? Yeah. Because they were obviously, according to what's being told to us, strong and many, more than the Egyptians actually. So yeah, what's up?
You know, if the best way to enslave people is to convince them that they're free.
Exactly.
You know, so I believe that they probably like twisted up the truth and like gave them, oh, we're gonna put you out here and pay you real well, you know, and like set you up, right? And they were like, yeah. And then, you know, next thing you know, 400 years went by.
And just like back then, like today, you know, we get to those situations where those who are in power can make it difficult for us to live in this world, make it more difficult for us to live in this world unless we comply with the things of the world in order to be allowed to participate in the world. And when we give in to that and we participate in the world against what it is that we should be doing by participating in what Yah is creating for us, that goes to show kind of the same thing of what they were going through. The world is created in a way to where we have to voluntarily
Comply.
submit to that slavery.
Yep.
And the key word here says, let us act wisely towards them. So let us set them up to make them believe that, like what you were saying, you know, and then slowly, yeah, okay. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Jeff?
That's what the mics are for.
You mentioned it this morning about, you know, when the times come and things get difficult to where, you know, we can't afford these things and they slowly squeeze you, that we're all on the spot that that's not going to affect us. And that we're just going to leave it and he's going to bring us through that. Even though we see all this craziness and destruction going on around us, that it won't disturb us. We'll be in a spot where we have peace.
I got a precept. Hebrews 12:1. Wherefore, seeing we also are encompassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Yah.
Come on, Ollie.
The reason that I brought that was because the sin, we're just talking about the sin that so easily besets us. Like, we engage with it. We're not forced into it. We just go purposefully into it, not even realizing we think it's there. So, put on patience, put on all the fruits of the Spirit. Just talking into the mic.
So, off subject, it always like blows my mind reading about when the Pharaoh's daughter called the woman who was Moshe's wife or Moshe's mother, and I'm like, that is so cool. Like, his own mother is weaning him, like nursing him, and getting paid for it. Like, it was just really cool. Only Yah can set that stuff up, you know?
So the part where like Yah is telling Moshe to go be his mouthpiece, and he's like doubting, right? Like, oh, why me? Because and the list goes on, right? And then Yah, it gets to a point where Yah's like burning with displeasure. So that's like an interesting perspective or like fact, because he definitely can get to a point of like burning displeasure when he's telling you something over and over again, and then it's like you're doubting. I think once we get into the position or the perspective or like the mindset that it is us in any capacity, then we've already failed, because it's never us, it's always him, and we are only able because we have him in us. And I thought that was really cool. And then reading on it talked about how like Pharaoh, how Moshe complained to Yah, and he was like, "Oh, why did you send me? Like, they're only doing evil upon us. Like, nothing's happening, right?" But that in that portion, the Ruach Hakodesh showed me that Yah wasn't only doing a work in Pharaoh and all of that, right? He was doing a work in his people and calling his people to faith. And it was foreign to them because of their circumstances and because they've been a slave for so long that they were a slave in their mind and they're a slave in their way of thinking, that what they could see, they were going based off of what they could see, which was a lack of faith, because faith is the substance of what we can't see, right? So I thought that was cool. And then another thing that actually stuck out in the reading was when way before when Yah told Moshe, "Take off your sandals, for the ground which you stand on is holy and is set apart." I think this is an act of showing us that the things of this world separates us from Yah, and there are things physically and spiritually he is going to call us to put off so that we may come closer to him. Because and like the sandals is like a physical representation of the things of the world, and it could be things in your life, it could be things that you hold dear, right? The idols in our lives, and he's calling you to put it off so that you can actually have a relationship with him. And sometimes we look at the laws like, oh, I have to do the laws because he's saying this is clean, this is not clean, and I just have to be obedient. But really, he's actually showing you how to have a relationship with him, because you cannot have a relationship with him and be unclean, right? Because he is clean, he is holy, he is set apart. So he's calling you to be that soul, not that you can just be set apart, soul. You can have a relationship with him, so you can have communion with him, so you can have life with him. I think that's what it all comes down to. Is, for me, I'm new to the walk, so he constantly reminds me it's not what you know, it's who you know. And the knowledge that he gives me is not so that I can just be in the knowing, but I can have a relationship with him. I can know my Father, I can know his heart, and not just do things the right way, but I'm doing things because I love him, because I know what bothers him, and I know what makes him happy, and I love him so much. And as I'm getting to know him, it's like when you're in a relationship, right? You're like, oh, I just want to, what makes you mad, right? You're asking them all the questions in the honeymoon phase. What makes you mad? What's your pet peeves? It's like, that's basically what he wants to have with us. He wants you to ask the questions, seek the word, not just to be wise, right? Because like he said, look at Solomon. It wasn't all about wisdom. He was the wisest man to walk the earth, and he still was futile, right? He's like, futile. It's not all about what you know, but it's about knowing him. And it's about, the more that I know him, the more I love him. The more I love him, the more I want to keep walking with him. And so that's kind of like what I wanted to share. And then I actually wanted to share one more thing that was in Kaika's message this morning that was really stuck out when he said be watchful, right? I was looking out at the guys, the bradas on those surfboards, and they're just wading in the water, right? I'm like, wow, that's so awesome, because every time I see that, I'm like, oh, sometimes I wish that I could be brave enough to go out there, yeah, and sit on the board and experience that type of peace that is out on the waters. And he was talking about being vigilant, being watchful. And so as a surfer, right, I'm not a surfer, so I could be wrong, but as a surfer, when you're out there, you're looking for a wave, you gotta know what you're looking for, right? You're looking for the peak, you're looking for where am I gonna go and paddle out on that certain point of the wave so that I can ride that wave, right? So you gotta be watchful, because you can miss it. It's about timing too, right? If I paddle too early, I will go right over it. If I paddle too late, I will miss the wave, right? So Yahuwah is teaching us that get on your board, right? When you're in a relationship with Yahuwah, get on your board and come out, paddle out, and it's going to be uncomfortable because it's going to be in the deep, right? And the deep is nothing like the short break. The deep is nothing like the shallow, right, where we can touch and we know we are familiar with the shore. We're comfortable in the shore. And for myself, because I'm like I said, I'm not a surfer, and I think the bravery that comes with me actually going out there is braving the deep, because it's just a different type of life out there in the deep, right? You gotta know what you're doing, or you're gonna get cracks. And some people who don't make it past the cracks. But anyway, so when you're out there, right, he's gonna call you, get on your board, come paddle out, and you cannot paddle out with all your belongings. You gotta dress, right? You can only take so much on the board out to the deep where he's calling you and it's uncomfortable. And then he's like, "Okay, look out." And I don't know about you, but growing up, I was always taught never to turn your back against the waves, never to turn your back against the ocean, because it's unpredictable. If you're not watching, you could easily get pounded, you could easily get thrown off. And so always look out, right? And so sometimes in the walk with Yah, he's, especially in the beginning where I'm at right now, he's teaching me what to look for. And that's where spiritual discernment comes in. And that's where we get in the word, right? We ask Yahweh, the Most High, we ask him, hey, please increase my spiritual discernment, because I'm not a surfer. I can go paddle out right now. I don't know what I'm looking for. And I've already gone wrong. And that can be dangerous for me because, one, I'm not used to the waters out here, not familiar to anything out there, right? And I don't even know what to look for, so I can easily get pounded, I can easily get thrown off. So that Yah loves his children so much, he's gonna call us on the board, right? He's gonna bring us to a place that it's safe enough for us to learn. But there's also technicalities to the walk, right? And he's gonna teach us what to look for, like a surfer looking for the wave, looking for the peak, knowing the swells, knowing the seasons, right? Because now I'm like, I wouldn't want to paddle out now unless you know what you're doing. Then you're like raging for the winter swells. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share. It's just like being watchful, being vigilant, and yeah.
And of course, I have to bring in the midwives. So the thing that was, I guess I never really saw it this way before, but it says that the Pharaoh told them to kill the men children, but the midwives, they feared Yah. They did not, it says they feared Yah and did not, as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. When we are following Yah and we are doing what he said, and we fear him and him alone, there's nothing, like, one, I think back to Lonnie's birth. Remember, she was filled with praise that whole time. And if you haven't heard her testimony on this, it's why. All she did, she chose to praise Yah the whole time. And praise came really fast. Yeah, Kaika and I were like, whoa. But think of the things that we can do. If you transfer that into any other area, what is Yah birthing you in? What is he taking us to? Where are we at? And if we will take the time to fear him, he'll protect us in all of that. And I have thought about Lonnie's birth a few times, and in those times when we feel like we're in treacherous times, Yah said he would shorten those times, right? So I just thought that was very interesting that they feared Yah more than they feared the Pharaoh.
I'm just surprised Anna doesn't have something.
So recently, trying to get into the language aspect as much as we possibly can. Hazan, 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 Hazan. And a lot of knowledge. What was I just reading? I think it was in Corinthians where worldly knowledge ends up becoming vain at a certain point. So, but before I read that scripture, going down rabbit holes of like trying to understand the language as best as we possibly can, because this is written in that language. So English doesn't always give a correct interpretation of what we're actually reading. And then in English, some of the words are rather Greek, they're Latin, right? They're Hebrew. So in order to understand an English word, you have to go into the root word of what that English word, or where that word even comes from. So, and I know like through all the rabbit holes and like the dialects of Hebrew, right, where the language got mingled, right, what the Jewish people end up doing with the language. What brought me home was Exodus chapter 3, starting in verse 6, because Moses, right, when the Most High was introducing himself to Moses, he didn't say name, right? He didn't give him a name yet. He says, I am the God, or I am the Elohim of thy father. I'm the God of Abraham, I'm the God of Isaac, and I'm the God of Jacob. So like this introducing of who the Most High actually is, rather than just a slapping a name to it, right? And then moreover in verse 13, when Moses is asking like, oh, well, when I come to the children of Israel and they ask basically who you are, like what is your name, what do I say? And even then he was like, tell them I'm the one who exists, I am that I am, right? So even then, like when it brought me to a point where it's like, you know what, in the midst of pronunciations of names, the most important thing is that he is the Most High of, right? He is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he is the one that exists. Before we even get into a name, we have to let people know that he's the one that exists. They're not going to know who Yahuwah or Yahweh is if they don't know he's the one who exists. It has to work in kind of that order. And that humbled me in my search of trying to be correct with dialect and language, because the truth is that it's endless. You'll never get to where, like you'll always find a teaching or a video, someone saying it's this or someone saying it's that, but the weightier matter is that the name that is tied to those four characters in the Hebrew is his reputation, his character, his authority. So when it says not to take his name in vain, it's not saying, oh, when people say Lord, no, am I taking the character or the authority, am I taking the esteem of the Most High in vain, so it's not so much the appellation or the spelling of the name, but it's what am I doing with his character, with what he is teaching me. So just wanted to share that.
If we're good with our discussion, beautiful discussion, I guess I'll lead us in prayer to close us. Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, thank you for this gathering, this beautiful gathering, this Torah portions in addition to our normal gathering is a blessing. And to be able to go deep into your word and to speak your word aloud here for all to hear is a blessing. And we thank you, we praise you, we worship you on this Shabbat, on this day of your rest. And we ask all our blessings, all the blessings that you give us through your Son, Yahusha, who died for our sins. Thank you. We love you. Hallelujah. Amen. Let it be.
Let it be. Hallelujah. Okay, guys, that concludes our service today. If you're in Hawaii, be sure to join us at 11 o'clock on Saturday mornings. If it's raining, we're at Alaka'i Fit. And if it's beautiful like today, and beautiful waves, and you can show up with all these beautiful people. We love you in the name of the Most High. Yeshua HaMashiach loves you. Have a beautiful day.
So,
God bless you. If you'd like to learn more about our
just
beautiful
to bounce
ministry,
off what
call
Lenny
us
was saying.
808-476-0332. Mahalo. God bless you.
So
Aloha.
Romans
God bless you.
2:14